Mamadou Ba. I come from originally from West Africa, Republic of Guinea, in the West Coast. I left there as a student, and I come to Europe. I left Guinea when Guinea got independent from the French, and we had a president called Mohamed Sékou Touré. It was very, very tough to live in Guinea. A lot of people get prosecuted because the way they believe politically. If they disagree anything with the leaders, with the party who's in power, and then you can be prosecuted. And then as a young guy, I was disagree completely, and I said myself at a young age, and then I will leave the country and seek for better life outside. The first opportunity I got after I left Africa, I went to Portugal. From Portugal, I came to Canada through Montreal, Quebec, which was the only province in Canada I know about. I arrived in Montreal in 1987, and I was 22 years old. I was in Montreal my first 4 years. Then when I completed my study in 1990, I left and I come to Toronto. I had a part-time job with the immigrations. I was doing some translations. They transferred me here. It was a big backlog with immigration refugees. So I was doing a translation with people coming from mostly West Africa. I was making a minimum wage, and I was not making enough money to live in Toronto. I met a Italian fellow at immigration, and I was telling him about my situation. And then he telling me that if I want to work in construction, he have his son working in construction, which is a member of Local 506. He can introduce him to him so he can help me to go join the union if I want to work, do a hard work and make better living. That was the turning point of myself joining Local 506. When I joined Local 506 in 1990, the first job I was offered is demolition work, which means the asbestos sector. That kept going for a few years. It was a tough one, especially as African descent. Mostly you have to work twice compared to your co-workers so that to keep your job. The safety were very low. Was a lot of physical work. Wasn't a lot of machinery like we are today, and there was a lot of dust, which has been described as a concrete silicon dust. It can be a result of inhaling those things for getting a cancer or getting a different sickness. We have a lot of big steels, big concrete block, and then mostly falling on all angles. You have to watch what you are doing, and it's very, very risky job because when the machine start grabbing to a higher level or piece of wall or a big piece of steels, and then they try to take it out, anything could fall down, anything could happen. I have witnessed a lot of accidents. Yeah, it is the most dangerous sector in construction. I did a lot of different work in construction as a laborer before I got the chance to come to the office. People were not used to see black people in the construction industry in Toronto. It was a little bit difficult for other people to accept, to see African descent performing well and then doing a good job, and then communicating well, respecting his co-workers. It was something surprising for a lot of people. We still have the Portuguese as a majority, but it's not as it used to be during the 90s. We have a lot of different groups coming in from every corner of the world. Only during 90 and middle during 90, working with the Portuguese crew was tough because communication were not there. They mostly communicate in Portuguese. In the lunchroom where you've been excluded into that conversations, and you don't know what's going on. So it was a little bit it's a little bit intimidating and tough. You got the lunchroom, and some Portuguese start calling you preto. Today we don't have that mentality, and we have a lot of different group in the construction industry in Toronto. It's mostly being communicated with English languages and on all backgrounds. Now you have to go through safety orientations, and to pass those safety orientation, you must speak English. You must able to read the signs. You must able to communicate with your coworker in English, so that if anything happens, you can alert them about the risk of an accident. All new members, as we speak, mostly have to have grade 10 English. That's the guideline from the government. So you have to go through an interview, you have to do a test, and then you have to go through our training center for 2-month training. And that make it difficult for people who just immigrated in Canada. Make it difficult for them to join the union because they don't have that education level, English education level. That put in peril of hiring all background. During the 1990s, we had a lot of black people in Local 506. My generation were the first one, the first group joining the labor union in Toronto or any other locals. We only had African descent from the Caribbean. They've been working in the construction industry here for much longer than us, but they were not a big number. I was the first black business rep in LiUNA in Ontario. I became a rep since 2002. We had a very important election. Then after the election, he came a principal to give me the opportunity and then hired me as a business rep. Carmen, he have done a wonderful job, especially to help our community, the African descent communities. I have more responsibility than other rep because all the black people there, they want to call me when they have problems. It's not because the other business rep, they are bad people. No, it's because of that kind of trusty things. And so I was constantly working with the black community as well with the entire membership. On the other hand, I have to prove myself to the white membership so that I can be trusted, so I'm capable to do my job. So that was one of the biggest challenges I had for many, many years. Was the challenges, was many different challenges and many different levels. When I go visit the job site, especially I go visit the members, some members, even though they have problems, they should come to me. They call other business rep outside my zone. In terms of management, when I go to see the site super, the first couple of years were tough. And some of the super, and as soon as they see me, they said, "You are not going in." A few occasions, the site super decided to call the police. He called the police on me, and then the police come, and the police talk to me. I give them my business card, and they go back inside, talk to the super, tell the super, "You know what, this is a bit union company, we don't want to get involved." I was appointed in 2005, and since then I've become a board member of the LiUNA African American Caucus. I proposed them to create a different or similar, but something can reflect into the Canadian culture and to the Canadian people. And then I proposed them to have a LiUNA African American Canadian Caucus.
Hello?
Dispatch.
Yeah.
How things busy down there?
Yeah, busy, yeah.
Okay, you have time to come up after? purpose creating those caucuses is to broaden the information and then bring a lot of people into Layuna and to help train people, to help inform people, to participate in a community event, because that's what needs to be done to help our organization, recruiting, embedding skilled people. This industry, we have a lot of people retiring. We need a lot of young people coming in on all different backgrounds. As a black beans rep in the industry in Toronto, give a very positive mindset among the African Canadian background. It gave them a confidence. They felt that they can be like me tomorrow. And that was very, very positive. It developed a very positive outcome into the communities.